All right, so today I'm going to give you a couple of options to start. We're going to be in a seated position. So I'd like to come to sitting back on our heels. So you kind of knees together, toes directing back, and then you sit back. So however, this can be a really, really intense stretch on the tops of the feet. It can be a really, really intense stretch on the front of the thigh, the hip flexors. So you may find that you need to take a blanket or a block behind you, kind of press it onto your heels. So give yourself a little height, and you could be pretty high. That would be acceptable. And you may also just be here and thinking like, this doesn't feel so good today. In which case, I simply invite you to find a nice cross-legged position. So crossing one shin in front of the other. So wherever you're at, you can place your hands on your thighs. Feel your shoulders balancing over your sit bones. Close your eyes here if they're not already. And then take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Do that a couple more times. Really fill up. Find that expansion of the rib cage on that inhale. And then exhaling, sigh the breath out, let the to-do list go. Let all of the things that you need to get done this afternoon, let them go. They're going to be there. But you're going to give yourself this opportunity to slow down, to check in, to not worry about all of that stuff for the next hour. And then start to find that inhale through your nose. Good. And then that exhale through your nose. You are creating this soft rush of air in the back of your throat. So you're constricting the sides of your throat a little bit. There is a sound to this. You don't have to overdo it, but it's definitely there. You're trying to keep the length of the inhale, the length of the exhale really nice and even. Maybe you have to count the breath. In fact, let's all do that together today. So inhale to the count of 6. So inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause 2, 3, 4. So 3 rounds like that, just on your own. Notice if you tense in those pauses. Try to stay soft and calm and relaxed. And when you're done with that 3rd round, you're just returning to your Ujjayi breath. And just finding a pace, a rhythm that feels good in your body. Good. And then go ahead and blink your eyes open here. So if you're okay sitting on the tops of your feet like this, they might be feeling like they're about to go numb. If that's you, go ahead and come to a cross-legged position. If you are cross-legged right now, go ahead and change the cross so the opposite shin comes in front. Otherwise, stay here for another minute or two if you can. So we're going to interlace our fingers behind our head. Good. And then you're just gently pressing the elbows back. And then you're letting the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other and then release down. Take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, drop your left elbow down, right elbow reaches up. Inhale to center. Exhale, release right elbow down. So a little stretch in the arms here, the shoulders. Inhale up to center. I've been loving this one lately. Exhale, release. This is definitely something that you could do at your desk every day. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale, release. So back of the neck is nice and long. You're not jutting your chin forward. You're not tucking your chin. Let's do a couple more. Good. So the next time that left elbow is reaching towards the mat, your right elbow is reaching up towards the ceiling, just take a couple breaths here. Maybe see if you can press the shoulder heads back a little more. You might even be able to press the back of your head into that upper arm. Nice work. Good. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale. Right elbow towards the mat. Left elbow up towards the ceiling. Pressing back a little bit with both shoulder heads, maybe kind of leaning your head back a little bit. That will intensify the stretch. And noticing where the stretch is kind of gets into this interesting place in the middle of the back. Breath smooth and steady. Good. Inhale up to center. And then as you exhale, release. So from wherever you are at, come up to your tabletop. Ooh, and we're all going to roll out our ankles here, which is going to feel amazing. So that Vajrasana that we started in is definitely an intense stretch on the top of the feet. You're definitely feeling it there. It's a big stretch for the ankle. And let's just get into the toes a little bit here. So we know the drill. We're not going to be here too long, I promise. So we're going to sit back on our heels. You're going to have to reach back, take that pinky toe underneath. And a nice little variation. If it feels like your toes are going to crack, again, maybe you give yourself a little height and it's not quite as intense. So sitting on a block or a blanket. And then right away, smile through the pain. In all seriousness though, do resist the urge to kind of clench your jaw here. This is super intense. So we don't usually get into our toes this way, into our feet this way. So it's a good thing to do. A few more good breaths here. Bring your attention to your breath. Use your breath to help you be in the intensity of this toe stretch. All right, enough of that already. Come back to your tabletop. And again, ooh, you're gonna wanna wiggle the toes, move the ankles. So just kind of intuit what your body is needing here. Nice. And then as you feel ready to start to move into your cat-cow, you start that. So inhale, you're arching into your lumbar, chest comes forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, you vigorously press the mat away. Let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Press into the tops of your legs to your shins. Inhale, arching. Coming into that cow stretch. Exhale, rounding into the cat stretch. And then continue like that. Your eyes might be closed here. That's always really nice. You can do that in any poses. Just helps to bring that gaze inward. Kind of helps to quiet the mind. It prevents us from getting distracted when we're looking around and noticing other things. Couple more. Great work. As you inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. So just doing a little bird dog here, moving with the breath. Keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips as you inhale, right leg, left arm. Lift up and extend out. Toes are pointing down. Exhale, release. Feel that containment in your core. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. Exhale, release. Good, continue like that. Moving with the breath, so taking the full inhale to arrive in the pose, the full exhale to come out, feeling that core stability. Finding the sense of vinyasa, coordinating movement with breath. That lifted leg, really active. You feel that inner thigh spiral up towards the ceiling. The arm that is extended, you feel the arm bone plug into the shoulder socket. The shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Good. Let's do one more to each side. So when you get to that, right leg lifted, left arm extended, hold there. Squeeze the outer hips in a lot. Keep your gaze slightly forward. It's okay if you're wobbling a little bit. That's your body figuring out how to keep you balanced here. Bend your right knee. Reach back with your left hand. Find that foot. Maybe if you don't get it, no big deal. If you've got it, kick that foot into your hand. Start to spin your chest to the left. Little back bend, little twist, a lot of balance. Breath smooth and steady. Good. As gracefully as you came in, extend back out. And then as you exhale, release down. Inhale, left leg, right arm, reach forward. Squeeze the outer hips in a lot. So imagine that you have corn cob holders on them, squeezing in. Find that feeling. Hold on to that as you bend your left knee. Reach back. See if you can find the foot. Side to side, it always feels a little different. If you get the foot, you kick it into your hand. Press that top shoulder back. Feel the shoulder blades release in towards each other. Begin to spin the left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe challenge yourself and gaze up a little bit. Breath doesn't skip a beat. Good, and then we lengthen back out. Release down, quick little child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Just start to melt forward. So finding that nice lengthening through your spine, getting a nice little stretch in the hips here. Letting the breath slow down a little bit. And then just begin to find a little twist. So you're gonna walk your arms off to the right. And you can think downward facing dog arms here. So they're active. Maybe resting your left ear to the inside of that left arm. And wrapping those left ribs towards that right thigh. Nice work. Start to walk back to center with your arms. And then off to the left. It's just finding that little gentle twist here in this child's pose. Right ribs wrap towards your left thigh. Good, begin to walk back to center. And then really start to stretch your arms forward. So you can peek forward between your hands. See that they're shoulders distance apart. If you know that you're a little tighter in your shoulders, you turn your fingers out slightly. But you're stretching so far forward that is, you start to press into all 10 knuckles, your forearms lift up off the mat. Rise on up here. Your wrists should be ahead of your shoulders. If you need a little more space, walk your hands forward a little further. Curl your toes under. Stretch back into your first downward facing dog. And you're welcome to find any movement that feels good here. So pedaling back and forth between your feet, shifting hips side to side. Oftentimes it just feels nice to come to a place of stillness. So wherever you need to be, finding this first downward facing dog. First one can be really tight, so a bend in the knees helps. You do want to make sure that your neck is releasing so your ears are lining up with your biceps. So essentially you're just gazing between your feet. And as you do that, you want to see that your feet are hips distance apart. Second and third toe are pointing forward. So it's kind of like the heel is hiding behind those toes ever so slightly. Front of the thigh is firming to the back of the thigh as you stretch your sit bones up. Forearms are squeezing in towards each other. That turns the upper arm in or upper arm on. So inner arm wraps towards outer arm. It's one of those talking days for me. Good. These look nice. So from here, you're going to take your time, just walk your feet forward to meet your hands at the top of your mat. When you get there, find a little forward fold. So bend in the knees will be nice. You can grab opposite elbows. Good. And then just find a little sway. Really try to let the neck lengthen and release. Let it go. That's so hard to do. And then go ahead and change the cross of your arms here. Nod yes. And no, and maybe even kind of exaggerate it. So really kind of lifting your chin up and then bringing your chin towards your chest. Good. And then just go ahead and hang here. So the back of the neck is nice and long. The front of the neck is nice and long. Maybe you begin to straighten your legs a little bit here. Maybe it's not time yet, so we're not super warm. If you are straightening, really do so by engaging the muscles above your knees, maybe even just keeping a little micro bend in your knees. And then releasing your fingertips down towards the mat. As you inhale, keep the weight evenly distributed in your feet. The front and the back of the foot starts to roll on up. And once you come up, roll your shoulders back a few times. And then just releasing your arms by your side. So nice mountain pose, finding lots of length here. So stretching tall through the sides of your waist. Legs are nice and long. Tailbone is gently releasing down as sternum gently lifts up. So you don't have to overdo either of those actions, but they're kind of going in opposite directions. And then we start to move a little bit here. So as you inhale, reach arms out and up or forward and up. As you exhale, hinge forward at your waist, fold on in. Let the back of your neck lengthen down. Inhaling, you can be on fingertips on floor or hands on shins or thighs. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, press shoulder heads back. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, root down to rise up. Again, you can reach out or you can reach forward and up with your arms, whatever feels best. And sometimes that's determined by the space that we're in. Good. Inhaling, reaching Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in Uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. You have 2 more rounds of your Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Maybe close your eyes. Let these feel good. And just move with the pace of your breath. When you're done with your second round, just pausing in your mountain pose, eyes still closed, palms together at your heart. With eyes closed, you can notice the play that's happening in your feet to keep you upright. There's all of these little micro movements. Good, and then blink your eyes open here. Release your arms by your side. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, right foot stays forward, left foot steps back, land on that knee. And then just bring your hands to that front thigh. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Walk that right foot to the right if you need to. Inhale, arms reach up. Outer hip squeeze in a lot, tailbone releases down. Palms face forward, make fists with your hands. And then as you exhale, nice and slow, pull elbows down. So getting kind of a nice little stretch in the back of the body and the arms. Think of this as an isometric stretch. Imagine that you're just pulling through like thick syrup. Nice work. Good. One more here. Exhaling, pulling down. Inhaling, stretching up. Can release those fists so palms face towards each other. Good. And then let's actually exhale, take our arms out wide. Bring your palms to face forward. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Go for the way that feels a little funny. So the opposite way that we did at the beginning of class. Keep this work happening in your legs. And then go ahead and bring right elbow down. Left elbow is reaching up. And then maybe you start to lean to the right a little bit. So not super intense, but a little side stretch on that left side. Good. Inhale up to center, release hands. Good. And then as you exhale, hands come to the mat, curl your left toes under, step that left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good, as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, keep left foot forward. Reach that right leg way back. Land on that knee. Good, hands come to that left thigh. So make sure you're not on a tightrope. Walk that left foot to the left if you need to. Good, and then we inhale. Come into our crescent pose. Again, palms face forward, make fists. Exhale. Kind of like you're using weights and doing those lat pulls. Pressing up on the inhale. Exhale down, keep those outer hips squeezing in. As you do that, you're gonna naturally feel the core engage. Beautiful work, Pamela. Exhale, pulling down. Good, inhale, stretch up. Good, release your hands and then arms come out to the side. Interlace fingers behind you, so gently pressing back, outer hip squeezing in. Just release that left elbow down. Keep breathing. Definitely a pretty intense stretch in the shoulders here. And again, you can kind of press your head into that right arm. And then maybe you start to lean off to the left. Keep those outer hips working a lot though. Really feel that right glute fire up. Good. Inhale up to center, release hands. As you exhale, hands plant, curl those right toes under, and then step that foot to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, inhaling, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward. Bend both knees, plant your palms right foot way back, then left. We're in plank pose, few breaths here. So shoulders land over your wrists, legs super active, front of the thigh presses towards the back of the thigh. The top of the thigh is pressing up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And then really fire up those heels. So it's like you're pressing your heels into a wall behind you. The same time you're doing that, you're stretching your sternum forward. For this first one, let's exhale, shift forward on our toes. Let's all come to our knees. Few little rounds of our modified chaturanga. So as you exhale, elbows bend an inch, 2, no more than halfway. Inhale, press up. Good, exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale up, your toes can be curled under or you can have your feet flat here. Exhale, lower. Good, inhale up. Nice and slow to the count of 5. Keep the elbows squeezing in, shoulder heads lifted. Come onto your belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen back through all 10 toes. Press into your toenails. Good. Let's interlace our fingers at the small of the back. If that's not in the cards for you today, you can just release your arms by your side. Resting on your forehead here, anchoring into your feet, your legs, your hip bones, your pubic bone as you inhale. Start to drag knuckles towards your heels. If you tend to be on the flexible side in your joints, keep a little bend in your elbows and then try to lift your shoulder heads a little more. As you exhale, roll on down. Change the interlacing of your fingers if you took that variation. And then as you inhale again, roll on up. So it's not a high lift, but this work that we do on our bellies creates so much strength in our back. This is a really important piece of having a strong core. If you'd like to add your legs here, you don't need to overdo it, just an inch or 2. Keep that idea of rolling a little bit to the outer edge of the feet though. Good, place your feet down, keep your heart and chest lifted. Bring your arms underneath your shoulder heads. So you're in your low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, curl on up. So again, not pressing up here with your hands, using your back. Exhale, lower. Inhaling up. Good, exhale, lower. Inhaling, holding here a few breaths. If you're ready to move towards an up dog, drag your hands back. So wrists are underneath your elbows. Press into your hands, press into your feet on the inhale. Again, legs really active. Feel your glutes squeeze. Feel the front of the thigh press to the back of the thigh, pressing up towards the ceiling. And then try to shine your chest forward a little more. Maybe you find a little bend in your elbows to do that, and then straighten the arms. If you're in your low cobra, you press to your tabletop, roll over your toes to downward dog. If you're in your up dog, you can roll over your toes from there, finding your downward facing dog. And from here, we take a nice deep inhale through our nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Starting to feel a little heat. You're welcome. All right, so stay in your downward dog. Find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes. Peek forward to where you're going. You can walk forward, step right then left, or you can hop both feet through, whatever feels best to you today. If you're hopping, try to keep arms pretty straight. As you inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into feet, stretch arms out and up. All right, so just standing here, nice Tadasana pose. Start to shift the weight into the left foot. So the right foot, it feels like it's getting a little lighter, but don't let that left hip pop out. And then we're just gonna start to bend this right knee and just see if you can grab the outer edge of the foot. So no big deal here. We're not trying to go into a back bend yet, but you're gonna feel a little stretch on the front of the thigh. And there's definitely a little bit of a balance element here. Observe if your toes have started to grip a lot. Press more into the mound of the big toe, mound of the little toe, inner heel and outer heel on that standing foot. Let's stretch this left arm up. And that might just kind of help the counterbalance a little bit. And then maybe just start to bring your gaze up. You're gonna notice that that standing leg starts to work a lot. Good, gaze comes forward. Release. Rooting into your right foot. Outer hip is squeezing in. So start to feel a little lightness in that left foot. Bend that knee. And then grab the outer edge of the foot if you can. You could always use a strap here, especially if you're really tight in the hip flexor, the quadricep. Notice if you're leaning forward. So just keeping this nice and tall here. Tailbone directing down, sternum stretching up, breath smooth and steady. Great. Anytime we're On one leg, we're building a lot of strength in that standing foot. Start to stretch your right arm up. Start to bring your gaze up. Keep outer hip squeezing in, keep breath steady. Good. Release here. Give the legs a little shake out. All right, mountain pose. Inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep looking forward. Step your left foot back, then your right foot. Take an inhale here in your plank pose. Exhale, shift forward on your toes. You can use your knees again, or you can do full chaturanga. Lower to halfway, hover, or all the way down. Inhale into your low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, press back to your downward facing dog. Good, and then inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, use your belly to help step that foot through. Walk it off to the right so you're not on a tightrope. Bend your back knee. Bring both hands to your hips. So feel that hips are facing the same direction. And then we're going to start to inhale, lift on up. Good. So take an exhale here. As you inhale, straighten both legs. Feel that right hip draw back, left hip forward. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale up. Straight legs, good. Exhale, sink in. This time, keep this right knee bent, nice 90-degree angle. And then maybe start to straighten that back leg any amount. You're going to feel this glorious hip stretcher, hip flexor stretch. I combine those on that left leg. All right, and then this time, let's bring our right fingertips to our left wrist. Outer hip squeeze in, fire up this right glute. Start to lean off to the right. So feel all of the length through this left side. Start to gently wrap your right ribs up. Maybe you even look up underneath that top arm. Good, inhale, come back to center. And then as we exhale, we're just gonna lower down onto that back knee. And then I want you to slide it back as much as feels comfortable. And then just fold in here. So intensifying this hip flexor stretch, getting that. Good place to have your hands on blocks, especially if you're really tight. For those of us that feel like we can go a little further, you're gonna start to walk your right foot off to the right. Bring both hands to the inside. Keep pressing to the inner edge of this right foot. It's almost like you're trying to squeeze this right knee into that upper right arm. You could be here on hands. Maybe you come down to forearms or forearms on blocks. And like I said, if you're just in the previous version, that's a really great place to be. This is an intense stretch. If you're feeling like you lost a little bit, coming down here on your forearms, curl those left toes under. So not only are you getting the intense stretch on the right groin, you start to feel that in the hip flexor again. So firing that left leg up. All right, so come on out. If you're down on that back knee, just curl those toes under. Heel toe your foot to the right if you were there. See if you can keep your hips this low as you step back to plank. From here, it's your choice. You make your way back to downward facing dog, or you take a chaturanga vinyasa. If you'd like a little heat, always modifying if you need to. Also, always skipping. Less is often more. From here, we inhale, lift our left leg up. So we're in that three-legged dog, hips still even here. Exhale, step that foot through, walk it off to the left. Find a little bend in that right knee. Just bring your hands to your hips. So feel that sensation that both hips are facing the same direction. Hold on to that. Keep directing your tailbone down. Inhale, rise up. Good. Take an exhale here. And then inhale. Start to straighten both legs from the muscles above your knees. Left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale, bend both knees. Good. Inhale, press up. Good. Exhale, sink in. So keep the nice deep bend in this front leg. Start to straighten that back leg any amount. Few breaths here. Feel that glorious hip Flexor stretch. Fire up that back leg. Just imagine that you're pressing that heel back into the wall. And then left fingertips come to that right wrist. Get lots of length on that right side. Start to lean off to the left. Fire up this left glute. It's helping to contain everything. It's giving you that support. And that kind of prevents us from dumping into our lower back as well when we engage those muscles. Maybe begin to spin left ribs up, perhaps even gazing up underneath that top arm. Gorgeous work. Good. Upright yourself. As you exhale, hands come down. Lower that back knee. It's really trying to get this hip flexor stretch. So the more you can slide that back knee back, the more intense it's going to be. Hands can be on blocks here if you're really tight. And then again, if you'd like to go a little further and kind of get into the inseam of this leg as well, walk that left foot off to the left. Keep pressing to the inner edge of that foot though. So both hands are to the inside of that foot. You can stay up here on hands. You can come to forearms. Keep looking forward, directing sternum forward as your tailbone directs back. Maybe curl those right toes under. And I'll just give you guys a little side view of that. So lots of length. Good. So you can lower that back knee down. Come on up, heel toe your foot in if you need to. Good, and then curl those right toes under. Good, keep your hips as slow. Step to your plank pose. From here, your choice. Chaturanga Vinyasa or downward facing dog. As we begin to build more heat, we get a little fatigued. Sometimes we can get sloppy in those chaturangas. If that's where you're at, skip them. So you pull back to your downward dog. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out, ha. Good. As you inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, and then we land on that left knee again. So if you're on a surface that's a little harder, you might want to double up your mat here. You might want to slide a blanket underneath that left knee. Go ahead and bring your hands up to that right thigh. And then again, you want to make sure that you have enough space here. So legs are about hip distance apart. Walk that right foot to the right if you need to. Okay, and then we're going to start to bend this left knee here. If you're right on the kneecap, you might kind of come down and then just kind of slide that leg back a little bit. So that's pretty intense. You want to be more like on the top of the leg. Outer hip squeezing in here. And then you can start to pull that left heel towards your left buttocks any amount. Let's stretch our right fingertips up. Keep outer hip squeezing in towards each other. Breath smooth and steady. Feel this left elbow squeeze in towards the midline. So you're feeling a stretch in that shoulder. You can stay here like this if you'd like to reach your right hand behind and see if you can grab the foot. Make sure that you're not kind of dumping forward, so you're still pretty upright, shoulders over your hips. So just getting into the intensity of that quadricep, that hip flexor. Good, and then one final thing here, so you can stay here like this. If you'd like to turn this into a little bit of a twist, inhale, stretch your left arm up. And then start to reach forward, plant that hand, and then spin left ribs to the right. And it's just going to shift where you get the stretch on the top of that left thigh. Good, one more deep inhale. Wherever you're at, try not to slingshot yourself out of this. So gently release that back leg, palms plant, curl your left toes under, which is going to feel amazing. And then your choice, stepping back to downward facing dog or stepping to your plank, taking a chaturanga vinyasa. All right, so here we go, taking that little Sequence to the second side. As you inhale, three-legged dog, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Lower onto that right knee, and again, slide it back a little bit. And then upright yourself here. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Tailbone is directing down, sternum is reaching up. Start to bend that right knee. And again, you might have to kind of adjust a little bit there. It's hard if you're like on a hardwood surface, so a little padding can be nice. And then you're noticing how this side might feel different. You're trying to bring your left heel a little closer to your right heel a little closer to your right buttocks. This elbow wants to wing out, you're squeezing it in. Maybe start to reach your left fingertips up. You can stay here, perhaps you reach back. Grabbing the foot, both elbows squeeze in. So it's kind of like a natarajasana pose. There's that feeling of cobra in the upper body. So the sternum lifting up. Keep squeezing the outer hips a lot. And then if you would like to turn this into a twist, start to stretch your right fingertips up. And then you lean forward, plant that right palm, press to the inner edge of that left foot, start to spin to the left. And it definitely kind of shifts where you're feeling the stretch in that hip flexor. Keep breathing, it's intense, it kind of feels good. Press that left shoulder head back behind you, get that opening. And then nice and easy here, don't slingshot out. Ooh. Release, lift that right knee up, give it a little bounce, a little wiggle. And then your choice, pull back to your downward facing dog, step to plank, take a chaturanga vinyasa. So whatever you're needing here. Couple of breaths, let everything slow down. Make sure that you're letting your neck release. So again, those ears are in line with your biceps. As you inhale, find a little bend in your knees, come to your tippy toes, peek where you're going. End of your exhale, walk forward, step left and right, hop through. Good. As you inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So we're gonna do the standing version of that. So we're gonna come into our natarajasana, a couple little variations. So standing dancer pose, nice hip flexor stretch. It's a back bend. So if you do have a strap, have it handy, and you're gonna put a little loop in the strap. If you don't have a strap, don't worry, we're gonna do a couple other variations first that you can do. So just place the strap off to one side for now. So we've been here before, Tadasana pose. We're gonna start to shift the weight into our left foot. Okay, so again, bend that right knee. Grab the outer edge of the foot so your thumb is facing forward. And then try to keep both hip bones nice and even. Inhale, stretch your left arm up. Good. Keep this feeling, but start to hinge forward at your waist. And the same time that you're doing that, begin to kick that right foot into your hand. Keep squeezing the elbow into the midline. If you fall out, it's no big deal. Find a place in front of you, something to gaze at, a drishti to keep you nice and balanced. Feel that sensation of your sternum spinning up towards the ceiling. Gorgeous, Pamela. And then nice and easy, make your way on out. Let that side go. Give everything a little shake if you need to. Rooting into your right foot. So outer hips are engaged, the glutes are engaged here. Start to bend the left knee, grab the outer edge of the foot. Hips are even, hold on to that feeling. Inhale, right arm reaches up. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. It's like your little bow and arrow. So aim true, start to kick that foot into your hand. Keep squeezing the elbow into the midline. And then just notice too how that left hip wants to open up. It's okay if it does a little bit. Try to release it down even. How is this side different? Are you breathing? Are you smiling? It's only yoga. Have you locked out that standing leg knee, especially if you're hyperflexy? Maybe a little bend in that knee. Good. Inhale, come on up. Let it go. Couple of breaths. All right. Back into the left foot, anchoring there. Right knee bends. Reach back, grab that foot. And then reach back with the left foot. Feel the elbows squeeze in, feel the shoulder heads lift. I'm gonna turn here. And then the same thing, try to keep the hips facing the same direction, keep the outer hip squeezing in, hinge forward any amount, and then just imagine that you're gonna place that foot on your head. Maybe you lean your head back a little bit. Believe it or not, some people can actually put their head, cradle it in their foot. I think that they're missing vertebra. I'm not sure it's safe. Slowly come back on up. Let that side go. And of course, if grabbing with both hands isn't working in your body, you can just do that first variation that we did. Rooting into the right foot, left knee bends, and then reach back. So we don't want the elbows to wing out. Notice how as I do that, my shoulder heads dip forward. I lose that sense of back bend in the thoracic. So I squeeze back, I get that lift, and then you hinge forward, kicking any amount. And this is also like our natarajasana that we do on our bellies when we reach back and grab both legs. It's that feeling in that left leg. Maybe start to lean the head back a little bit. Again, don't lock out that right knee joint, especially if you're hyperflexible. A little bend there. Inhale, come on up. Great work. So you can do either of those variations again. If you have your strap and you want to play with going a little deeper still, you're going to grab that. And you've made a little stirrup here. So you're going to place your right foot into that stirrup. So the strap comes into your right hand. As you bend that right knee, you're going to kind of flip the strap around. Good. And then, so we're holding on to the strap here. So you're holding on with both hands. As you start to hinge forward and fold in, you can also begin to walk your hands down the strap. All of the same actions apply. Again, you could just be holding on with one hand, both hands with your foot. Ah, nice. That was so good, Pam. And you'll notice if you have the strap, it's just a deeper thoracic stretch. It's a more intense stretch on that right hip flexor. Okay, so if you're in that, go ahead and begin to make your way out. And then just take your left foot to the inside of that little stirrup. All right, so as you bend that left knee, you can kind of swing that strap behind you. Hold on here. Start to walk the hands back any amount. Keep the elbow squeezing in. And then you can kind of use that leverage with the strap. Ooh, to pull that back leg in. Breath smooth and steady. Nice and easy, come on out. Good work, natarajasana, dancer pose. Who doesn't want to dance? On a Tuesday, let the strap go. Go ahead and come down to seated. And we are gonna come into Dandasana first. So just feeling your shoulders stack over your sit bones. Sit up on something here if it's hard to sit tall. Feet are flexed and active. And just close your eyes. So all of the hard work is done. All of the new challenging poses to some of us, all of that's done. Let it go. Maybe it looked like you wanted to, maybe it didn't. They're both good. Some of these things take years to get, but it's really, our brains love it when we're trying new things. Our bodies love it. Okay, so blink your eyes open here. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here because we've warmed up the hamstrings, or not the hamstrings, the front of the leg, completely the opposite of the hamstring, the top of the leg, the hip flexor a lot. I kind of want to do a variation on our typical forward fold here. So we're going to actually take our right knee back, and there's a couple of things that can happen here. So you can come into half virasana. So you're sitting back evenly. Side of that right foot is on the side of that right hip. Most of us are actually probably going to sit on that right heel as we did at the beginning of the class, potentially. So again, we're just kind of stretching this out here. So find the variation that feels good. If you want to slide something underneath that left sit bone, that's fine. If you are in this variation where you're sitting on the heel, it is going to be lifting up off the floor. So you could just stay here like this, or maybe you start to walk your hands forward any amount. You could also take a strap around your feet. Keep those left toes active and engaged. Little bend in the knee is nice, especially if the hamstring is tight. We didn't warm them up. We didn't focus on them specifically today. So that might be a nice little adjustment in your body. Good. As you inhale, slowly roll on up. Okay, and then just very carefully, you're gonna have to roll off to that left sit bone wherever you're at. Extend that right leg to straight. And then we're gonna take the second side. So again, heroes, half heroes pose. So the side of the left foot is the outside of the left hip. You're sitting down, pressing evenly into both sit bones. If that's really intense, you're actually sitting up on the heel. This right sit bone is gonna lift up. Wherever you're at, again, start to hinge forward. You might not be able to walk forward very far at all. It's much harder to forward fold in this configuration with one leg bent back. So just be respectful of that. A strap is a wonderful variation here around the foot. Let me just grab that and demonstrate. The strap is nice. It just helps you to keep that integrity in your spine, helps you to keep that extended leg, that foot flexed. All right, we're gonna inhale, slowly roll on up, and just kind of roll off to that right sit bone, extend, left leg to straight. Give your legs a little shake out here. So I wanna come into a quick little hip stretcher on both sides, which is gonna feel nice. I'm gonna give you a couple options. So the most basic option is to just simply cross your right shin in front of your left shin. You could stack hips if that's available and you don't feel any sensation in your knee, and then to hinge forward. If you're liking playing with this kind of two legs doing opposite things, you might play with doing this half gomukhasana leg. So you would keep the left leg extended, and then you cross that right knee on top. And I think that this feels so good. It definitely gets into a different place in the glutes and into the hips. And then from here, you can start to hinge forward, fold in. I also think that it's really nice. It kind of gets into that extended hamstring a little bit different. So again, couple of options. You could also simply be on the floor right now doing your reclining pigeon. That's always an amazing variation. Some days it just feels better in our bodies. Good, slowly come on up. Okay, so wherever you're at, just make your way out. If you're doing that double pigeon variation, recross with left shin in front or stack shins. Or maybe take that left knee on top of your right knee. It's okay if it doesn't stack exactly. Good, stretch arms up. And then exhale, hinge forward. pulled in, trying to keep the spine nice and long, so not rounding a lot. That might mean that you go less far, that's okay. Couple more really good breaths here. Good. As you inhale, you're going to come on out of this pose. You're going to make your way onto your back. When you get there, give your knees a squeeze into your chest. And then just real quick before we come into our Shavasana, keep your knees squeezing in, bringing your arms out in a T shape. Exhale, drop knees off to the right. Maybe start to roll onto that left cheek. Good. Inhale, come up to center. And then exhale, drop knees off to the left, anchoring down into that right shoulder blade, maybe rolling onto that right cheek. Just feeling the right ribs releasing towards the earth. Might be more of an idea than anything. And then inhale up to center here. Making your way into a very well-deserved Shavasana. So set up so that you're nice and comfortable. You can take legs up a wall. You can slide something underneath your knees if there's any pressure in your lower back. Make sure that shoulders are kind of snuggled underneath you so you feel that openness across your heart and chest. Palms face up. And then close your eyes. Soak up these final quiet moments here. You don't have to worry about anything just yet. We'll be there. Let yourself be still and quiet. Shavasana. Take a deeper inhale. Sigh the breath out. Ha. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Bring some gentle movement back to your body. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. Staying soft and quiet. Just roll to one side or the other, finding the fetal position. And then you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up today, for working hard. Promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this feeling with you into the rest of the day ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your head with a smile.